Okay. Um, Good evening, everyone. Hare Krishna. Let me welcome you all for this session. Thanks for taking time and joining this session again. Um, Before I get started, does anyone have any questions or anything? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I think my laptop got muted. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear
Thank
you.
you. Thank you very much. Okay. Let me get started. So far, um, out of 6 topics here, we went through what was Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjaya. And we also saw shlokas that are related to Duryodhana's fear and its diplomacy in describing the armies to his guru, that is Dronacharya. And then last week, we went through the topic of blowing of conch shells, and which is also the signs of victory for the Pandavas. So we have completed so far all these all these 3 topics. Now we will go through in detail about Arjuna observing the armies. So far, Duryodhana was observing the army. Now Arjuna observes the army. And after that, Arjuna, on seeing his kith and kin family, you will say, Krishna, I don't want to fight. So that is covered in shlokas from 28 to 46. I'm aiming to cover this topic 20 to 27 today. So let me quickly go over some of the signs of victory for Pandavas. We saw Bhishma started blowing his conch shell to cheer up Arjuna. And then after that, Krishna started blowing his conch shell. And Arjuna also started blowing his conch shell. They are all divyam, transcendental. When the Kauravas sounded their conch shell, nothing was mentioned about transcendental or spiritual. But when Krishna and Arjuna blew the conch shell, it is considered like divyam, transcendental. And Krishna is a Bhakta Vatsala, because he's a supreme Lord, but he has taken up a position as a charioteer, chariot driver for his devotee and friend Arjuna. So he's called as Bhakta Vatsala. So then we saw the different names of the conch shells for Pandavas and Arjuna, Krishna. And I've listed it down. The name of Krishna's conch shell was Panchajanya, and Arjuna's Devadatta, Yudhishthir, Anantavijaya, Bhima, Poundram, Nakula, Sughosha, Sahadeva, Manipushpaka. So Panchajanya uh, is the conch shell for name of the conch shell for Krishna. And they've also described about the conch shells of other Pandavas, not Pandavas, Pandava army, like the Shikanti, the Richatyumna, Virata. So there are different warriors in Pandava side. They are blowing their conch shells. So if you see from Kaurava side, only one person, Bhishma, sounded the conch shell, but in Pandava side, 18 people blew the conch shell. That's just speciality. And when the conch shells from the Pandavas are blown, the hearts of the Kauravas got shattered. It is said when we are following the path of adharma, injustice, our heart becomes weak. So naturally, when they are on the other side, if they are on the side of dharma, if they are with Krishna, right, they feel more strong. So that's the reason when Pandavas and Krishna blew the conch shells, the heart of the Kauravas got shattered. That is also another sign of victory for Pandavas. And last time we wrapped up here at this Shlokas 20th. So here it starts with Atha. It says, Arjuna seated in the chariot bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, he took up his bow and arrow, and after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra, you know, he, Arjuna spoke to Lord Krishna these words. So there are a few things here. So Lord Hanuman was in the flag of Arjuna, Arjuna's chariot. That itself a great sign of victory, because wherever Rama is, Hanuman will be there. Here, Krishna and Rama are the same. So wherever Hanuman and Rama or Krishna are there, there is a sure victory. And one more thing here, this is when the Bhagavad Gita starts. Atha. Atha means thereupon, now onwards. So in many, even when we start reciting the Parayana, Bhagavad Parayana, we say Atha. Atha Dwadasho Dhyayah. We are going to start Bhagavad Gita, that chapter. And when we finish, we say Iti, Om Tat Saditi. So far, we have chanted Bhagavad Gita. So that's the meaning of this Atha. The Bhagavad Gita starts here. The conversation will start here. First, Arjuna talks, and it's from the second chapter onwards, Krishna talks. The conversation starts here. That is what I meant. So the other point here is that let me move on to the other. So as I mentioned, the emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory. Both Rama and Hanuman were on Arjuna's chariot. So that is also a sign of victory. So based on the discussion that we had last week, can anyone say what are the other signs of victory mentioned in these shlokas that we read so far? Anyone? The other signs where Krishna was called as Madhava. When Krishna is there, goddess of fortune will also be there. So even during the Vamana avatar, Krishna Narayana came as Vamana, and as a bachelor, as a brahmachari, asking for 3 feet from Bali Chakravarti. Even then, he wore a, Angavastram or, Utri of deer to cover his chest, because before going to Bali Maharaj, Lord Vamanadev asked Goddess of Fortune, can you just stay away from me for 10 days? I will finish this, avatar, and then I will, you can come back to me. Mahalakshmi says, no, no way. I will always be there where you are. So she was there. That's the reason, Vamana covered his chest. So when Lord Krishna is there, Goddess of Fortune will be there. That is one sign of victory. And apart from that, Hanumanji was there. When Hanuman is there, that's a sign of victory. And apart from that, the chariot was given by Agni Dev. It can flew up, down, everywhere. And the fourth is, the other thing is, right, even the conch shells, they are all transcendental in terms of Pandavas. That is also another sign that they are going to win, because everything is divyam on their side, because Krishna was present. So that's one reason, there is a good probability that Pandavas will win based on the Bhagavad Gita that we read so far. And we discussed about this story last week, Kapidwaja, how Hanuman came into the flag of Arjuna. And we also, went through the story how Hanuman came to help Bhima. So Hanuman said that Bhima, whenever you fight with your enemies, you just roar like a lion. Along with that, I will also add my voice into it so that it will be very much terrifying to the enemies so that you can easily kill them. So that was the a promise Hanumanji made for Bhima. And okay. So we're going to start with the new shlokas here. Um, this is 21st shloka. Srinidhi, you want to read this shloka?
Okay. अर्जुन उवाच सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयाम्युत यावदेतान्निरीक्षेऽहं योद्धुकामानवस्थितान् कैर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे.
Okay, thank you, Srinidhi. Anyone wants to read the translation? Just this translation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, please.
Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms.
Thank you, Mataji. So you see, this is the opening of, the Bhagavad Gita, where it started. It is focused on Krishna. This is the entry of Krishna, right? So does anyone see anything special here or anything different here? Anything unusual here? Okay, so this is the opening shloka where the Krishna is shown as a chariot driver. To start with, he's being ordered, right? He's being ordered by his devotee and friend. So although Krishna is the supreme Lord, right? Out of his causeless mercy, yes, is engaged in the service of his devotee and friend, right? He's getting the order from Arjuna. Arjuna says, Krishna, please park the chariot between the two armies. So that is really great. Here, Krishna is the Rishikesha, one who controls the senses, one who is the master of the senses and mind. That is why in the previous sloka, he has been referred as Rishikesha because he controls the senses of Arjuna as well, because Arjuna is a surrendered soul. So the more that we surrender to Krishna, the more Krishna takes control of our senses and mind. So that is why you see acharyas, exalted devotees and sannyasis, in the pure people, right? Pure devotees, they are being directly controlled by Krishna. That's why you won't find any fault in them normally, right? So, but now the controller is being controlled by his devotee. So that is a great position of Arjuna, and it is applicable for everyone. So here, Achyuta refers to someone who is infallible. Here, Krishna is called as Achyuta. He never fails in his affection for his devotees. He never fails in his affection. And that's why he's addressed here as infallible, right? But in the same way, it is also applicable to us as well, right? If we never fail in showing affection and love and do devotional service to Krishna, that is our position as Achyuta. Otherwise, it is called as Vichyuta. That is opposite of Achyuta. That is fallen condition. So when Krishna is ready to come down from his supreme position and wants to serve his devotees, right? He never fails in his affection. That is his Achyuta position. But our Achyuta position is when we don't fail in showing affection, love, and prema towards Krishna and doing devotional service. And doing devotional service to Krishna is very simple. Krishna asks, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. If you give me any leaf, flower, or palam, fruit, or toyam, water, that's it. right? It's very simple. He's made it very simple. That's what he expects. Yeah. Right. So when Krishna finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is infallible, master in all circumstances. So though he comes down, his position is unchallenged. He is still the supreme Lord. Right. In many instances, we have found, right, Krishna comes down from his position, like I mentioned a couple of times. Krishna, as in the Damodar Leela, he let his mother to tie down, where all the devatas came, and then they were wondering, what? The Supreme Lord is being tied by a gopi? That is what they were thinking, they were praying. So a God, Krishna has two extremes. One is Paratvam. Paratvam means showing a supreme power. He killed, Bhutana when he was a baby, and then he killed all the demons, Trinavarta, Pralambasura, lot of demons, just like that, where even when he was a kid. That was supremacy, right? He showed his Vishwarupa. That is supremacy. On the other hand, he shows Saulabhyam. Saulabhyam means very simple, taking the order from the devotees. So Paratvam, Saulabhyam. It is said the one who has the Paratvam and Saulabhyam, right? To those persons we need to surrender, right? So Krishna is always there for his devotees, when they surrender to him, when they do devotional service to him, when they, offer their love to him, right? That is what we will see in detail in the Bhakti Yoga, right? So even in Krishna, in the fourth chapter says, Paritranaya sadhuna, right? I come down personally to protect his devotees. When we surrender to Krishna, Krishna is more indebted. He wants to protect his devotees. That's why he says, Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the pious people. Vinashaya dushkritam, to kill the miscreants. And Dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish the Dharma, Krishna descends. Shambhavami yuge yuge. Every yuge, I appear, right? The second and third, to kill the miscreants or demonic people or to establish Dharma, Krishna does not need to come. But Krishna specially comes to protect his devotees and also to do leelas so that his devotees always remember, right? Every leela, that the Lord performs in different avatars, those are all helping us to reinforce our consciousness towards Krishna, right? And, I just want to highlight a story where Akbar was in conversation with Birbal, and Akbar asked, why your Lord, Krishna, now and then appearing in person, why doesn't he send anybody to protect the people, right? My Lord does not come just like that. Then Birbal said, okay, wait, I will explain to you tomorrow, Uzur. And the next day, while Akbar and Birbal were walking, and near the fountain, um, suddenly somebody threw a small baby into the fountain, small pond with fountain. And then Akbar asked, who is that? Birbal said, Uzur, that is your grandson. Without even calling anybody, Akbar just went ahead and jumped into the pond and then took away the child. And then later he found that was not a real child, that was like a doll. Then Birbal explained, this is what our God Krishna does. See, you would have called your servants, you have thousands of servants, you would have called your servants to protect your grandson, but you jumped and then protected your grandson, right? So that is the same type of affection our lords, our gods have, our Krishna has. So that is one thing I want to say, right? The Krishna has so much affection towards uh, the devotees. He has done a lot of menial things. He assumed the role of a menial servant. I want to highlight another story. This happened in Sri Rangam during the time of Ramanujacharya. So there was one devotee who used to come to the Sri Rangam temple every day, and he used to take a very big plate of prasadam. And all other priests, they were inconvenient. They were not comfortable. Him taking everything. And then it came to the notice of Ramanuja Acharya. Ramanuja Acharya said, why are you taking everything? He said, I have 16 children, Prabhu. and I need to feed them. So Ramanuja said, "Can you do some service in the temple?" He said, "No, no, no, I cannot do any service because my kids are all malnourished, and they are sick very frequently. So I want to be with them. That's the reason I cannot do." So Ramanuja said, "Okay, what you know, just tell me." He said, "I can chant Vishnu Sahasranam, but I know only one or two lines." Ramanujacharya asked him, "So what do you know in Vishnu Sahasranam?" He said, "Vishwam Vishnu Vasaktaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krit Bhuta Brit." And then Ramanujacharya said, "Okay, you just chant Bhuta Krite Namaha. Your problem will be solved." That person went, and after a few days, the person did not come to the temple. And all the priests and Ramanujacharya wondered. But after that, it also something happened mystically. The prasadam that was offered to Lord Ranganatha was missing. So they had a doubt that this guy somehow comes and then stealing the food, but they could not prove it. They could not prove it. So they left it. But after some time, Ramanujacharya met him, this person, this devotee, near the Kolidam river, which is next to the temple, near the temple. And then he asked, "Oh, I did not see you for a long time. What are you doing now?" He said, "Sir, because of your advice, I have been chanting Bhutakrite Namaha every day. But you know what? I'm getting the food 2 times a day." Ramanujacharya wondered, "How did you get the food?" He said, "There was one small boy who comes to my house every day, 2 times, and he gives me the prasadam. And do you know who is he? Sir, he said that he is a servant of Ramanujacharya." Then Ramanujacharya, know that it is not an ordinary person, ordinary boy. It is Lord Sri Ranganatha himself came as a menial servant, serving the food for his devotee. Because Ramanujacharya said, "You chant this mantra and your problem will be solved," right? That is the position of the Lord Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu. So when we surrender, when we do devotional service, they are pretty much indebted, to respond, to reciprocate, right? Yes. And another thing, important thing to note here is, right, whenever you know, being a chariot driver for Arjuna, it is not a smaller thing. During those days, when they want to, the person, here in this case, Arjuna, when he wants the chariot to drive right, he will press his toe on the shoulder of Krishna to the right direction. He will press his right toe on the shoulder of Krishna. When he wants to go to the left, you'll press his left toe of his feet on the shoulder of Krishna, right? So how great it is, Krishna, perfectly fit into the role of chariot driver, and he did it perfectly. Sometimes when when Arjuna says, "Krishna, let us drive this way, that way," and then suddenly Krishna will stop the chariot. He says, "Arjuna, I cannot drive it like this. I am a charioteer. I need to take care of the horses as well." So you will give some time for the horses to take rest, and then you will again proceed in the direction Arjuna wanted. The same, once the day is over, you won't go just like that. Krishna will take up all the horses and feed them and then make them rest, and then he will go to his camp. Right? Yes, perfectly did his role as a chariot driver. I want to mention one of the stories, again in Ramanujacharya's story, how what will be Krishna's feeling when his devotee is pressing his toe on his shoulder, right? Whether Krishna would have been offended or whether Krishna would have been taken it lightly, now what will be his feeling, right? Uh, this happened again in Sri Rangam during Ramanujacharya's time, where Ramanujacharya with 50 of his disciples was walking in the main street in Sri Rangam. Suddenly on the opposite side is Guru Mahapurna or Periyanambi was coming in the opposite direction. So suddenly Ramanujacharya's guru, offered obeisances. He did Dandavat pranams to Ramanujacharya, and Ramanujacharya did not say anything. He smiled. Ramanujacharya smiled and then left. And then Ramanujacharya's disciples asked him, Sir, he is your guru, but you did not say anything when he offered Dandavat pranams. Ramanujacharya smiled. He said, sometimes it so happens, during when the parents or father, right, when the kid is very small, they used to take their feet and then put it on their cheek, right? They will slap on the cheek with their feet of their son or daughter. Likewise, my guru did. So I don't want to make it a big deal. So I just kept myself quiet. And on the other hand, the same question was asked to Periyanambi or Mahapurna. And Mahapurna said, the way Ramanujacharya was walking in the main street with 50 disciples, he resembled my guru Alavandar or Yamunacharya. So that's the reason, without knowing anything, I just offered obeisances. So the point I'm trying to come here is that, like Ramanuja Acharya accepted his gurus, of obeisances, even if somebody in Krishna's position, right, if the devotee does something like this, they'll be very happy, to do service to his devotees. The same way here as well, another point, okay, I will keep on saying, so let me move on to other shloka. The meaning of Achyuta is infallible, addressed to because the Lord never fails in his affection for his devotees, and he did not hesitate to carry out the orders of Arjuna as his charioteer, but still his supreme position is not challenged. So the relationship between the Lord and the servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to serve. That is, we are the servitors, we are the servants of the Lord. We are Krishnadas, right? And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. Right? The Lord is always want to render some service to the devotee. So even we always, sometimes we take Bhishma in a different sense, in a wrong sense, right? Why he allowed, Draupadi to be disrobed, but Bhishma was a great devotee of Krishna. He was positioned, in the Kaurava side for a reason. Krishna wants to show that even if somebody is very talented, is the greatest in archery, and if he is supporting the adharma, he will fall. So that is the position, that is the point Krishna is mentioning by positioning Bhishma on the opposite side. Right? So the other reason is, right, Bhishma, so every devotee has certain type of relationship with Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu, right? So somebody will have a Sakya Rasa, that is like Arjuna, had friendship relationship, friend devotee. And somebody like Yashoda, right? She was showing Vatsalya Rasa, right? Motherly affection. And gopis and Radharani, they were showing Madhurya Rasa, right? And there are different rasa. Virya Rasa means in the fighting spirit. So Bhishma is always in the fighting spirit. So that is one reason, right? When Krishna said that I'm not going to take a weapon during the war, Bhishma took a vow, I will make Krishna to take a weapon. So who won at last? Can anyone say?
Bhishma.
Yes, Bhishma won because
Is it because of like Krishna took like a wheel?
yes, yeah, Krishna took a wheel. So what happened is Bhishma is in the Virya Rasa. He wants to fight with Krishna. That is also another reason why he was positioned in the opposite direction, right? Like for example, Okay, I will come back to that. So even during the war, Bhishma was sending a lot of arrows towards Arjuna. Many of the arrows, Krishna took it on his own, right? If you go to Chennai, there was a temple called Parthasarathi, where you'll find the Lord Krishna is having some scars or wounds in his body, because whenever Bhishma sends the arrows right towards Arjuna, and many of the arrows fell on Krishna as well, but Krishna considered them as an offering from Bhishma. So he was saying, my son is doing this, I'll be taking it. So that is the position of Krishna. But at the same time, at one point in time, when Duryodhana uh, was speaking very harshly to Bhishma, and Bhishma wants to prove his dignity, prove that his vow still holds good, that he will protect Hastinapura at any cost. So he was fighting with full of vigor, and he was doing a havoc on the army of Pandavas, and then he was almost trying to kill Arjuna. At that moment, Krishna could not tolerate it. Then he jumped out of the chariot and then invoked the Sudarshana. He took the chariot wheel and was trying to kill Bhishma. But at the time, as we know, Arjuna, begged Krishna to show mercy on Bhishma, and he took a vow that he will kill Bhishma. Is that right? Yeah, he said to Krishna that he will kill Bhishma. So there is it's a very lovely thing arrangement. So Bhishma want to fight with Krishna in a Virya Rasa, that he did, and he also his vow of making Krishna to take the weapon is also satisfied, because Krishna, when you think about Krishna, Krishna gives more importance to the words of the devotees than the words of himself. Than his words. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, in the 6th chapter, I believe, Krishna says, Arjuna, go and tell the world that my bhakta, my devotee, never vanquishes. Then Acharyas explain, Krishna could have told this, right? My devotee never vanquishes. He wants Arjuna to tell this. The Acharyas explain, because Krishna sometimes, we know that Krishna will say this and do that. He will do this and say that. That is our understanding. That's what we see. But when his devotee says something, Krishna will make it true, will make it happen. So that's the reason he was saying, Arjuna say this, that my devotees never vanquishes. Name bhakta na pranishyati. Name bhakta pranishyati. Right? That is one thing. So here, when Krishna was trying to protect Arjuna from the anger of Bhishma, actually in Sri Sambhradaya, it is Krishna in that moment is called as Yadava Simha. Yadava Simha. Right? There are 3 types of Simhas. Narasimha came down to protect Prahlad. Right? When Hiranyakashipu did lot of anarthas, lot of offenses against Lord Narayana, Narayana simply ignored. It does not affect him. But when Hiranyakashipu trying to kill his son Prahlad, and when Prahlad pointed his finger to a stone or pillar, Narasimha appeared and then killed Hiranyakashipu to prove his devotee's words, right? So that is called as Narasimha. He protected his devotee. So when Lord Rama saw that Ravana hurted Hanuman, he got angry. The Acharyas explain, it is said that Rama was holding his bow a little bit loosely before that. He was just fighting. But once when he saw that Hanuman was hurted by Ravana heavily, he took his bow very strongly. He was holding it strongly, and then he started, fighting it in full fledged. That is called as Ragavasimha. So first is Narasimha, second Ragavasimha, third here, Krishna protect his devotee, right? I know he took he broke his vow and took the chariot and Sudarshan Chakra and wanted to kill Bhishma. There here he is called as Yadavasimha, right? So even if Bhishma is a devotee, he wants to protect Krishna. Sorry, he wants to protect Arjuna, excuse me. So here he is called as Yadavasimha because he's from Yadava Kula, right? So let us move on to the other shlokas. Any volunteers for this shloka?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Please, thank you.
योत्स्यमानानवेक्षेऽहं ययेतेऽत्र समागताः धातराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धेः युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः.
Thank you. Anyone to read the translation?
Yeah, let me do that.
Thank you.
Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So here, Arjuna was ready to fight and he took his bow and he was about to fight. The environment is surcharged. A lot of people are ready for fighting. And now he says, let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra, right? So, evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra is Duryodhana. So Duryodhana made a lot of evil plans from the beginning to kill the Pandavas, and unlawfully through gambling, he acquired all the land of kingdom from Yudhishthir and his brothers. So that's why he is called as evil-minded. So Arjuna wanted to see, he's such an evil-minded person, Duryodhana. I want to see who are those who are supporting him, who have come to fight against us. I want to see. They may be birds of same feather. They may also be evil-minded. I want to see how did they come to support this evil-minded person, Duryodhana. Okay. Anyone wants to read the shloka? Okay, I'll read it. Sanjaya Vacha Eva Mukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayorubhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Ratotamam. So, translation? Any volunteer?
Prabhuji, I can read.
Please.
Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties.
Right. So here, Lord Krishna is mentioned as Rishikesha, right? Rishikesha means who is the controller of the senses, right? Control of the sense and mind. The more we surrender to Krishna, the more he takes control of our senses and mind, as I mentioned previously. But here, Arjuna is controlling him. Arjuna has instructed him to park the chariot between the two armies, and Krishna did so in the midst of both the parties. And one thing to know here, Guda Keshena, that's a very important word. Guda Keshena. Gudaka means sleep. Isha means Lord. So Guda Keshena is here referred to Arjuna. Arjuna as control on the sleep. He has win over the sleep because he does not sleep. Why we need a sleep? it is said that when we are in the mode of ignorance, when we are under the spell of kama, krodha, moha, lobha, mada, matcharya, everything, right? All those, anger, lust, greed, and everything, we need more sleep. But Arjuna here, he is a devotee, he is a friend. He's always been thinking about Krishna. Right? Okay. He's thinking about Krishna's nama, guna, quality, rupa, form, lila, activities. So he does not need a sleep. So you can find this in many of the devotees as well, exalted devotees or acharyas. They don't sleep. Even if they sleep for 1 or 2 hours because they always think about Krishna. And when they do work, they think about Krishna. So they don't need much rest. Let me go to this. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance. So sleep is also considered as an ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna and could not forget Krishna even for a moment. So he's called as a Gudakesha. Either in the waking or sleep, devotee of the Lord can never free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, or pastimes. Just a fun fact, Guda is also called as curly, and Kesha means hair. Arjuna has curly hair. So we can also say, Arjuna is also referred as curly hair. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Like, what's the difference between Gudakesha and Nikulakesha?
Gudakesha.
Yeah, and Gudakesha.
Both are same. Gudakesha. So there are the way that you split it. If it is Gudaka Isha, that is sleep, one who win over the conquer the sleep. When you just split like Guda and Kesha, it means curly hair. Right. So this is about this one. I think we are already on time. Does anyone has any questions so far? Any comments, any feedback, any realization? Let me know. I would like to hear. I've been taking this session. So for what you think, based on what we have learned so far, we have just started into the Bhagavad Gita. We have just started into the conversation. So the main matter of Bhagavad Gita will start from the second chapter, but we are starting, a little bit of, information from the first chapter. Any questions? Any comments? Any realization? Okay. If nothing else, thank you very much, everyone. We will again regroup next week, 8 p.m. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.